feel this. Nice and cool. Hey there. So today we will be installing this DIY MRCool mini split. Here is the box for the outdoor unit. It comes in 3 boxes when you buy it. You've got the outdoor unit, the indoor wall mounted unit, and then the refrigerant lines, which come pre-charged, which is really nice. That means you don't have to do any vacuuming of the lines or injecting refrigerant into them. That's already in there. So when you do the quick connection of the refrigerant line to this unit and to your wall mounted unit, you're set to go. So that's what's cool about this product, and today we're going to show you how to put one in. This is specifically the E-Star unit. It's a brand new model. We've installed these in the past and done some videos on them, and those used to come with the refrigerant lines attached to the indoor unit, and it was kind of a hassle because you had to deal with like the wall mounted unit with these long refrigerant lines attached to them. You'd have to try and shove them all out the wall and everything. It was kind of a little bit more difficult, whereas this one, everything comes separate, so theoretically it should be easy. We don't know yet because we haven't put one of these new ones in, but today we're going to try. I would assume it's going to make the process a lot faster. So this is the outdoor unit. We've already put it in place, and we've had the electrician come out and hook it up, install this little panel. So you can do everything else yourself. However, doing this part, connecting it to the breaker, we would definitely recommend getting an electrician if you aren't one yourself. These units can be mounted up on the house. You can order brackets for it, make your own, or you can build a pad or make a pad, just so long as it's secure. That gives you little holes in the feet where you can drill it down. You want it to be at least 6 inches away from the house on the back side, and then I would just recommend doing the same for the sides. And we are all set to go. Basically, we just have to run a line through here. Since this isn't a normal house, this is actually a steel kind of pole barn material wrapping a shipping container. So I've pre-drilled and pre-cut all of those holes already. Otherwise, this would be a much longer video. All right, so as you can see here, this is our indoor mounted unit, and this is the refrigerant lines that it comes with. You've got a drainage plug, some insulation. First things first, we need to figure out where we're going to mount the indoor unit. So this should come with a cardboard template, and with that we will place it and figure out where everything's going to go. Alright, so here is the wall mounted unit. It will sit up on the wall like so, like that. When you flip it over, you've got this communication wire which hooks up to your outdoor unit. You have, this is your bracket, so you can go ahead and pop this out. Well, it looks like it's screwed in there. I'm going to set it aside for now. And here we have the connection lines. So these are for your refrigerant, and this is your drain. So we will be pushing all of this stuff through the wall. So first things first though, we need to grab that template right here. As you can see, it's nice and big. Basically, it gives you the outline of your bracket. It gives you an exit point where you're going to want to use a hole saw to drill out the hole in your wall where all of the refrigerant lines will be going. And it gives you little markers for where you need to either hang this bracket or secure it to your studs. So go ahead and figure out where on the wall you're going to be putting it. We're going to be putting ours right up above this door. And as you can see, I already have a hole drilled out. I used this hole saw. You can pick one up at a hardware store. I believe around 6 inches for a good comfortable hole. So in the instructions, you will read where is recommended to mount your indoor unit. Definitely you want to make sure you keep in mind how tall your ceilings are, and I believe it says you have to have a minimum of 6 inches in between the ceiling and then the top of your bracket. That's just to make sure that you can actually lift up that indoor unit and set it onto the bracket. Similarly, it gives you a 4-inch clearance on either side of the wall. Where we have ours placed right now, we're gonna be fine. We've got plenty of room, but just make sure to read the instructions closely. You cannot place it on the ground. You have to mount it on the wall. Simply, that's because your drainage pipe is going to have a lot of like condensation and water drainage, and it's going to have to run downhill somehow. So you should not put it close to the floor. Also, that could just damage your unit, and the way that the fans are on the unit, they open up at the bottom of it. So if you had a wall mounted unit right here, you'd be cooling like your ankles, you know, if it was down here. But if it's up here, it's gonna be blowing the cold air down on you. All right, so now we're gonna go up and place our template. For you, if you don't already have your hole drilled out, which I would recommend waiting to do, basically what you would do is you would find a place on the wall that you liked, find your studs using a stud finder, and then line up these bracket arms so that they're gonna rest one on each stud. And then you take like a pencil, poke through the cardboard, and mark the center of your hole, and that's where you're gonna drill. It also recommends that you drill at a slight downward angle. This is just to ensure that all the water draining from the indoor unit drains out and doesn't back up and then start leaking down your wall or anything. So for our purposes, since we already have our hole drilled due to the fact that this is just a giant steel box, I already cut out this, you know, where the recommended measurement is on this template. So I'm just gonna line that up and then make sure it's level. And I would recommend maybe getting some tape because it makes this whole process a lot easier. But then I will mark my mounting points and we'll be on our way. That looks about level to me. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that the tape is all fixed down, and now I'm gonna mark the holes. So now that we have our template in place and leveled, I'm gonna just use a drill with a small drill bit on it to poke through where I'm going to be using like the mounting screws. The good thing about this bracket is, as you can see, there are holes everywhere. So regardless of where the studs fall in your wall, you're gonna luck out. Got a stud coming down here and a stud coming down here. So I'm gonna have plenty of different options for this one, but for you, do what makes sense with your wall. Alright, so now that we have our holes drilled, we're going to take that mounting template off and we're going to actually put this on. A couple things to note is which way you install it. Pretty much these clips, as you can see, they're kind of bumped out away. You want those like this on the wall. You want them away from the wall because pretty much the indoor unit is going to clip on behind it. So just be mindful of that. You've got a nice little helpful arrow to tell you which way to put it. Yeah. Now line up your markings and you're set to go. Alright, so one thing to consider is they don't really give you any serious fasteners for the bracket. So go ahead and pick up a box of screws. So what I'm going to do now is just hang my center point, which was right here, and then I'll level it out and make sure that it's level again. That looks about as good as I can get it. So I'm gonna try my hardest to not move it and lock it in place. All right, now always double check. You can never be too sure. looks good. Go ahead and put another one in on the other side. Still looking good. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw the rest of them in pretty confidently because I've got at least 3 points anchoring it in. So now we're going to hang up this indoor unit and then we'll move around to the outside. Basically, the way that we did it, we've got these pipes on, you know, the, I guess, right-hand side if you're facing the front of it. So I'm going to try and gently straighten these out because you don't want to kink them. That could really do some damage. You know, causes the refrigerant not to move properly. So go ahead and straighten these out. You've got both your lines here. And then obviously your drain. One thing to keep in mind is you're going to want to make sure that your drain stays on the bottom at all times. They give you some tape and stuff and recommend that you tape this to your refrigerant lines. It's just to secure it on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so you've got your communication wires. I'm going to feed those through first and then get rid of some of the slack so I can stick the piping out through this hole. Alright, so now we're ready to mount this indoor unit. Basically there are 2 little plastic openings right here and here at the top, and you're going to try and rest those on the 2 clips up there that we showed you earlier in the film. So now for the tricky part. Definitely helps if you've got a helper. If not, then just try and get it as close to the hole as possible and guide everything through as you lift this and mount it. Good thing is this isn't super heavy, so give it a shot. Just got it hooked on. When you lift up your indoor unit, you kind of tilt it so the top of it's tilted toward the wall. You find those little clips on the bracket and then you snap the bottom in. So our indoor unit's mounted nice and secure. Gonna go outside now and finish the job. One thing that you can see is I wrapped this tubing up with the communication wire and the drain so that the drain is going to be on the bottom of these coolant lines. Basically we're going to gently try and bend these downward, and this just makes sure that your drain's not going to have to like go up and around so your water doesn't have any issues. Now try to bend it pretty gently. You don't want to kink it, so just be mindful. You don't want to put it like on a hard surface and then just jam it down. I'm trying to like bend it a little bit further out. Another product that you can also get with these is a Hide-A-Line. Basically it almost looks like a gutter system, but it closes up all of this wire and it goes down to the unit. So it looks a little bit more clean. Seeing as how this is a pole barn, I think we're just gonna let it ride. Here's the rest of your lines. These are actually the lines that do have the refrigerant and stuff in them. Be very careful. Keep these plastic caps on until you're about to connect these. Alright, so we got our lines rolled out. Pretty much what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take one end. It doesn't specify which end you need to connect to which. It's a little bit cumbersome dealing with this line. Again, you don't want to kink it, but they are flexible pipes inside, but they're still copper pipes, so it is a possibility. You've got your blue and your gray. Alright, so to do this, you're going to need either 2 adjustable wrenches, or maybe a channel lock, or something, but you're gonna need to hold on to this one while you tighten this. So you don't want to be twisting these pipes up, because again, it could kink the line. So in the directions, it specifies to wait till the very last minute before you start unscrewing these caps. Basically, these little colored caps, make sure that there's no debris or water or anything getting in these quick release sort of fittings. And the idea is that as you start to tighten these together, it releases the refrigerant into the system. So basically, I'm going to get this into place, make sure I'm not cross-threading it, just kind of get it started with my hands, and then I will start in with the wrenches. And it says you want to kind of do this fast, so once you get your wrenches all set up, just go ahead and keep tightening it. It also said you might hear like a little hiss, which would be the refrigerant being released into the lines. Alright, so we got one line connected, now let's move on to the other. Alright, same idea. You want to make sure that you're not cross-threading anything. Alright, now that these are all nice and tight together, the package gives you some tape for these joints, just to keep them unexposed. So we're going to go ahead and tape those up. Alright, let's go ahead and get this other one nice and wrapped up. Alrighty, that's looking good. I'm gonna try to cover these up just a little bit more. Alright, now that we have the first part of our line connected, we're gonna go ahead and connect the second part to the outdoor unit. You can see right here, this little box is gonna be for your electrical switch, and this box down here is going to be for those lines. So let's go ahead and get this all ready. This outdoor unit should also come with an Allen key right here, and I will show you in just a second why this is going to be useful. There are just a couple of screws that hold this shield on. They're down at the bottom, so go ahead and remove those and hang on to them. Alright, this is a bottom drain plug, so at the bottom of this outdoor unit you can clip this in, and then it also comes with some more hosing that you can direct however you want if you were going to mount this up high somewhere, but since ours is up down low on the ground, we don't really have a use for this. So, alright, as you can see, it's a pretty similar setup to what we just did. We've got one with the blue and one with the gray, and we're going to go ahead and connect those now. One thing that is a drawback to this system is they have only a few different size lengths of hose. For us, we really only needed maybe 3 feet of this hose, but I think this is like a 10-foot or something around there, maybe even 15. So the bad part is you got to figure out what to do with the extra hose. What we could have done is maybe mount this a little bit further away, maybe somewhere down along the side. But this is the easiest as far as I could have seen. So with the extras, I'm just going to try and roll it up and rest it behind the unit. So now that we've got these roughly in place, we're going to go ahead and pretty much repeat the process of what we did up here. Take the caps off. Remember, just be very gentle when you're bending these into position. Alright, so once you have these all connected, you can go ahead and put the extra insulation they have around it. But the next step is to open the valves. So basically you've got these little caps and you're going to want to take them off. So. And then with that little Allen key that they sent you, you're going to insert it and open the valve all the way. So you should be able to open it until it stops right there. So that's all the way, and same with this one. There we go. Go ahead and put these caps back on and we'll connect the electric. You want to make sure that the breaker for this is switched off. It could be very dangerous. Absolutely, especially if the electrician's already hooked it up. Alrighty, now we do have an extra little entry hole down here next to our main line. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this out because I'm going to be feeding our communication wire up through this. So go ahead and send it up. Now if I pull this away, you can kind of see what we got going on. We got a ground wire right here, and then we've got a black, blue, and red wire. Alright, so what I'm doing first is just connecting the ground. Alright, so just refer to your directions. Ours says ours was going to be 1, 2, 3, red, white, black. So we've got red, white, and a black, and we're going to set them up just like that. Oh, that's easy. Something I didn't notice. They're actually right on the wire where you're supposed to connect them. So 3 to 3. So that's all the steps required for the electric. If you don't feel comfortable, definitely get an electrician. Basically, we're going to seal this up, turn on the breaker, and then we can start our unit. With this little remote, it's nice. They send it with some batteries, so that's pretty cool. Go ahead and set that up. It turns on. Also, it comes with a little wall mount, so you can pretty much mount this to the wall wherever you'd like, and the remote will just rest inside of it. So for now, we got to turn the breaker on, and then we can set the temperature for the room. Just flip the breaker and hit the on-off button, and you can see, give us a second, looks like we're cooling right now. So with this remote, you can adjust your temperature. Pretty cool. You can feel this. Feels like we're starting to get some cold air. Nice and cool. Mr. Cool. Alright, so that's all there is to it. That's how you set up DIY Mr. Cool. This is the E-Star series. This is my third Mr. Cool installation. I'm getting the hang of it, so if you find that you're having some troubles with your installation or don't feel confident, I'm in the state of Indiana, so anywhere within relative driving distance, I'd be happy to come install it for you. You can contact me at daveandrich@housebarons.com. I hope the video helped, and thanks for watching.